welcome back to Ghoulin Around, where we talk about all things horror, and we're going to do a book review today. So again, it's just me and Mom here.
Yep.
And we're going to start talking about a book series called the Dresden Files. This is a 15
book
15
series,
books long.
And the 16th, from what I understand, is being written, should be releasing pretty soon.
Oh, they're still going?
Yes, he is still
Jeez.
writing these. This is the author that Lena met at Comic-Con the one year to have him sign her books.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Wow. Okay, so it's a very long series. So we're going to do 2 books at a time. Once we get through 2 books, then we'll do a review, and we'll continue going through that. And then when we get to the 15th, the 16th's not out yet. Well, then we'll just do the 15th.
Yeah.
And then talk about which one was our favorite or whatever. These are more of like fantasy / mystery, but I think they could fall into the horror genre very well because you have all these different creatures. Like you've got fairies and werewolves and vampires and wizards and everything.
All kinds of different, yeah.
The unicorn was awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you just have all these different types of creatures that we like to talk about in the horror genre, and there's lots of blood and gore. And
yeah, there is.
So I think that not just the fantasy or mystery, but it could definitely fit into the horror genre.
Yeah, I think it goes more towards the fantasy, but you could possibly put them over into the horror genre just because there is a lot of blood and gore.
Yeah.
A lot of fighting.
Yeah.
So.
There's comedy.
Oh, God, yes. So much comedy. Harry Dresden is the wizard that this focuses around. And he is just one of those types of people that...
He's a smart ass.
Everything that comes to his brain comes out of his mouth. And Bob. I love Bob.
So the basis of like the books is kind of like... So Harry Dresden is a wizard, and he actually contracts as a wizard, usually with the PD and...
Special investigations, stuff like that.
In
Chicago.
So then people can actually look him up in the phone book and find a wizard to hire.
To find things is his specialty, but he also gets kind of pulled into a lot of other things.
Yeah. So the first book is called Stormfront, and the basis of this one is there's this girl that Monica Sells hires him to find her husband. And then while this is going on, there's murders going on of people getting their hearts ripped out. And
by black magic.
Yes. Karen Murphy, which is the
head of special investigations.
Yes, hires Dresden to come in and help on special cases that looks like they could be part of the supernatural. So he gets pulled into that at the same time he's trying to find Monica Sells' husband. And then he's got the mob comes after him as well. Marconi.
Yes.
He tries to get him to be part of the mob. So he's got like all these people that want him doing things, and he kind of like says "fuck you" to the mob. So that turns out real great.
Yeah, Marconi wanted him as a bodyguard.
Yeah.
But he pretty much said no because, mobs are bad people, and that's what he does not want to associate himself with. So he's a good wizard, but most of the time his goodness comes out in a bad way. So he gets himself in a lot of trouble. He gets a lot of people mad at him.
Yes.
So it's kind of funny because he's always trying to do what's best for the community, but it ends up a lot of times pissing a lot of people off at him, and then he has to defend himself from them. Like in this one, he does a few things, and he actually gets the vampire court pissed at him. So,
well, the reason for that, so one of the girls that was killed was God, what is her name? The head vampire.
Bianca.
Bianca. I was like, it starts with a B. It's not Blair.
No, Bianca.
Bianca's head of the vampires, and one of her girls ends up getting killed and her heart ripped out, and she actually thinks it's Dresden. So they have this little meeting, and it does not go well.
Not at all.
So Dresden gets to see her for her true self, and she does not like that because she's supposed to be this beautiful woman, and when she turns into her vampire self, she's this ugly,
hideous,
really nasty
creature.
So she does not like that he got to see her true self.
Because she thought she was going to kill him.
Yeah. So, but that plays later on.
Yeah.
And all these books really go in line, but...
Yeah.
So
definitely, if you read them, make sure you go
in order.
In
you have
order.
to be in order.
Because if you jump to say, she's in the third one. Fourth. Okay, and I've already read. I think I'm in the 8th or the 9th book. I'm at the end of one of them, and if you do try to go out of order, you will get lost very quickly.
Yeah, they all play back to back. Like right where one ends, the next one picks up. And so this one, as he's investigating all this stuff, he finds out that there's a drug called the third eye going around.
Yes.
And
it basically gives
normal people,
a human, a regular person, a non-wizard, non-magical people, the ability to see in a third eye as a wizard and see all the magical things that are out there in the world that other people don't see for what they are.
So normal people would think that these people are hallucinating, but they're actually not. They're seeing what's actually there that normal humans cannot see. Only wizards that open up their third eye can see this magical creatures around or whatever is going on. And so he finds out people are producing this drug, and eventually he finds out that it's Monica Sell's husband that's doing all of this and killing the people and producing the drug and all that. And he
conjured up a demon to do the black magic to kill the people around town that he's investigating through the Special Investigations Unit.
Yeah, and then so at the very end, he ends up, burning down the house with him inside of it. And of course, this doesn't go over with the White Council. So he also reports to a White Council, and he has to follow the wizard guidelines. And you're not supposed to kill people. So
yeah,
he's also got that riding on his back as well. And he got Morgan in this one trying to hunt him down because Morgan wants to bring him to justice.
Part of the White Council also.
Yeah,
he is one of the senior members of the White Council, so he is one that kind of goes around and keeps tabs on other people, other wizards, to make sure that they do not break rules.
Yeah. And then so you got so much going on, and my favorite character throughout this one was Bob. So Bob is a spirit that lives in a skull in his basement.
He's a knowledge spirit. So basically it's Harry's internet.
Yeah. So one thing about the wizards is electronic devices don't like them. They tend to break down. So his entire house doesn't have like computers or TVs.
No water heater.
No water heater. His car barely works.
Yeah. Anything electronical can go wacky around wizards because of all the energy that they produce. Yeah.
So instead of having the internet, he's got this spirit that he has bounded to this skull, because he's also saving Bob from being prosecuted. So he's kind of hiding him.
Correct.
And so Bob is like been around for thousands and thousands of years.
He's had quite a few different owners.
Yeah. And so he kind of knows a lot of spells. He knows a lot of potions, stuff like that. So whenever Harry needs help, he calls on to Bob. And Bob is just freaking hilarious. They constantly bicker back and forth. I mean, it's like an old married couple. Like they
pretty much.
Constantly bickering. You also have the character Susan comes into this. Susan is a reporter. She plays a big role in the next few books as well.
Yeah, she does.
But Susan's a reporter that reports on like the supernatural for like one of the
Even
weird
for the,
newspapers.
like the newspapers, of course, a lot of people don't believe in it, but they're trying to get the word out to people so that they can make the world aware of the paranormal community.
Yeah. And so she kind of navigates towards Dresden and ends up in the middle of one of his battles with a demon. And there's an escape potion. This is my favorite part of this whole book. He makes 2 potions. He made a love potion and he made an escape potion, and they're sitting in like Gatorade bottles, so he has no idea which one's what. But he's trying to fight the demon and sends her down to the lair to go drink the escape potion. And so she runs down there and she grabs the Gatorade bottle and she starts drinking it, but they don't escape. And they're like, he's thinking like, and during this whole time he's naked because he was in the shower.
He was in the shower when this happened.
So he's running around naked trying to fight a demon.
Yeah.
And so she comes back up from the lair, he goes down to the lair and puts a circle around them to protect them.
A protection circle.
And then the potion starts kicking in. And she accidentally drank the love potion, not the escape potion. And so she's like all over him as he's trying to keep his mind on the circle to keep them protected. And she's trying to grab at him and kiss on him. And Bob's over there like, she took the wrong one, Harry. And
he's like, Harry. He's like, not now, Bob.
Yeah. Harry. What now, Bob? I'm busy. Harry.
And he's like, what's going on? He says, that's what I've been trying to tell you.
She drank the wrong one.
Like, oh my God. Bob is hilarious.
So Bob's great. I love Bob.
Yeah, I love Bob too.
So
I find quite a few so far, because I'm a little further. There's a few more that I really, 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 really like. But Bob is hilarious.
Yeah, Bob is great. The comedy and the action and everything.
The way they banter between each other, I think, is probably the best highlight of any of it. Because their banter back and forth is, Bob's a smartass, so he's always ragging on Harry, and Harry's like, well, I could turn you over to the Fae. And he's like, no, that's okay.
Yeah, they're pretty great. So that's pretty much like the summary for the first book. So like, obviously there's a lot that goes on, but it's very well done.
It is.
And it's not a very long book.
It's not forced either.
No.
It doesn't. It flows very well. It does not seem to be forced in there.
But like, it's written from like Harry's point of view, and
yes.
So it's just so funny, like when you see like he's being pulled in this direction and pulled in that direction and pulled in this direction, and he's just like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? And I've got the white console that's up my ass, and he's like, I gotta be careful what I do. And then he even like summons like one of the fairies to help him, but he's got a
godmother.
Not his godmother. His godmother doesn't show up in this one yet.
Oh, sorry.
But Toot.
Oh, Toot, yeah.
Toot, yeah.
Okay, Toot.
He sums up Toot to help him, but Morgan's like, oh, you're not supposed to be doing this. And he's like, I didn't tell him to do anything. I asked for his favor and I gave him some pizza. Like, so he has to like watch the guidelines really well too to not get in trouble with
He kind of finds loopholes in a lot of things. He does that in quite a few of these. Yeah.
So it was really well done. The descriptions really well, especially with the killings. I felt like the killings were just brutal.
Oh, yeah. Very brutal.
Yeah. And, because, I mean, like, he even gets sick when, like...
He does not have the stomach for gore.
No.
He
gets sick every time he sees it.
This is not the first time. It was not going to be the last time. He does not have the stomach for a lot of gore.
Yeah.
One of the biggest things I think that affects him that way is being a wizard. It is impressed on them that life is everything.
He must do good.
So, he gets his power from life force. So when you take a life, when you take a mortal life, it's a drain on that power. And that's, he's a very good wizard. He just does things wrong sometimes, like I said, but he's very good, but he just really, really tries to uphold the fact that you do not take a life, because that is part of the life force that we feed off of to be who we are.
Yeah. So that was the first book with the sorcerer. So that's like the easy way to remember it, because the investigation part. So the first one was about the sorcerer that he found. It was Monica Sell's husband.
Yeah.
And then the second book is called Full Moon, full as in Fool, full moon. And this one brought in werewolves of all types. They had the normal type werewolves. They had loup-garous, lycanthropes, hexenwolves. Four.
Yeah,
there was 4 of them. Got them all.
Yeah, there was 4 of them. Yeah, got them all.
And they were very different from each other. So
yeah, which I liked that they did that. They had the, of course, there's so much lore and so many different types of werewolves, everywhere, that they actually kind of took a little bit of everything of that and made like different types of werewolves all together in this book.
Yeah. And they all had different ways of you can kill them, how they were when they transformed and all that. So in this one, it's been a while since I read it. So the basis of this one was he got pulled into Murphy's office again because there's some killings going on, and it's werewolf killings, and they weren't happening around the full moon at this point. So it was just werewolves killing people. And I think the first one was one of Marconi's men that died in the bar. Remember?
Was it Marconi's men?
It was one of Marconi's men.
Okay.
And he was like, he knew the guy because he had met with Marconi the year before.
That's right. It was one of Marconi's.
And then so he starts investigating it, and he ends up finding the kids with... What's her name? I don't remember the girl's name, the werewolf.
Her last name is West.
Sure. Anyway, they find her and some kids held up in a building, and they're werewolves, but they're good werewolves, but he doesn't know this at the time. And so then he starts investigating them, and then he ends up running into a gang. That was like the street gang.
Yeah, the street gang. That was the street gang. That was Billy and the Werewolves.
No, they were the good ones, not the street gang.
Oh, that's right. Okay, I know which ones you're talking about now. Yeah. the gang.
That were in the full moon bar. Yeah. That's what it was called. Was the full moon bar, and they were the street gang. But they thought he was killing them, so then they went after him as well because he had disrespected the oldest guy there by accident. And then you got Billy and the kids, which are the good werewolves that are trying to help him. And then you find out that the leader, the female, the one I can't remember the name of, Tara, which is the leader of these kids, is a werewolf, but she's engaged to a loup-garou that... So the loup-garou only turns on the full moon, whereas the other werewolves, they can turn whenever they want. The loup-garou only turns on the full moon, but they're extremely powerful and you cannot stop them. So what they do is they kind of bind him into the apartment so that he doesn't get out. But the people that are doing the killings set him loose so that they can frame him, even though he's not the bad guy. And he ends up killing a bunch of people while he's out because he can't control it. And so
come to find out who's actually letting him out with his binds was a couple people in the FBI.
It was FBI. The PD, the FBI.
The FBI, where they had seen some stuff, and in order to
They wanted to take down the
wanted
bad
to take
guys.
down all the bad guys, so they had gotten somehow a hold of
Hexen belts.
Hexen belts, and that actually turned them into werewolves. But the bad part about the Hexen belt is that the more you wear it, the less human you become.
Well, they become it's like an addiction.
It's an addiction, and they become very bloodthirsty. So after Harry kind of finds this out, he realizes that these people that are using the Hexen belts are really doing more damage than anything else.
Yeah, so they start killing all kinds of people, even though their intentions were good, but, because the problem with, Marconi's men is, they have people that are paid off in the FBI, and lawyers, so, they never end up going to jail, and these FBI agents are just we're tired of this, they need to pay for their crimes. And, we all kind of feel that way in the real world, but you can't go around killing people.
Yeah.
It's very hypocritical. So you got all this going on. So the FBI's eventually get Billy and the kids and Tara and Dresden and Marconi himself trapped in this pit, and they sent the Luke Guru out to kill them.
Yes.
So they have to escape from that. And Susan's mixed up in this whole thing too.
Yeah.
Because Susan and Dresden are now dating. Yeah. And she's like, no, I want a story. And he's like, no, you're staying home. And she's like, no, I want a story. So she ends up going. And she ends up getting mixed in this whole thing. Murphy's partner ends up dying.
Yeah.
So that really messed her up. And she really she ends up arresting Dresden in this one. Because she doesn't trust him. Because she thinks that he's lying to her. And technically at this point it's not really lying. He can't tell her the whole truth because of the rules of the White Council.
He still hasn't quite opened up everything to her. She knows that he is a wizard and he can help, but he hasn't really opened up all the ins and outs of being a wizard. Yeah,
well, the White Council says that he's not allowed to tell a lot of that stuff, so he kind of has to keep stuff hidden from her. And she knows he's hiding stuff from her, so then
of course, she turns around and not trusts him because she knows he's hiding stuff.
Yeah. And that's going to play a part in the next few books is, now Murphy doesn't trust him, and it's going to cause a conflict with him working with the PD. And so I really liked this one. What
was your favorite part?
I know Bob had said a few things, but I can't really remember any of them. I think I loved the werewolves in this one. I really did. I mean, the way that they described them, the way that Tara looked. I mean, Tara was absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
And the kids and Billy and all of them, they were beautiful animals. Yeah. Absolutely beautiful. And I loved that aspect of having different types of werewolves.
Absolutely. I mean,
especially all mixed together. That was just really cool the way that they did them.
See, and they don't stop at the werewolves, though. I don't know how far exactly you've gotten, but even the vampires. They have the different types of vampires in this one. And they're all different. They have their different courts and things like that. So, I mean, it gets very intricate very fast. But these books are so good.
And they're just so well done.
I can't seem to put these down.
Yeah.
At all. And you know that, because I'm we need more. I'm done.
Yeah, these are just really good books.
They are. They're very good.
And, they just seem to get better and better. Whereas, you usually, if you start reading, a series, they tend to go off sometimes. Yeah. And you tend to not like them later on. But this one just keeps getting better and better, and there's just way more into it, and you find out way more about Harry Dresden himself.
Oh, yeah.
And
I can't wait to do the ones that I'm reading right now, because there's so much, and it's I really can't. I'm sitting here and I'm holding my tongue because I have so many spoilers, and I'm trying so hard not to spoil them.
Yeah, I know. Even on the books where I'm at, I'm trying not to give our audience that yet.
Yeah. Well, I had asked you, have you met Thomas yet? And you're like, no. And I'm like, okay, because I don't want to say anything. Yeah. And I know you've met Thomas, but you don't find out about Thomas for another couple of books.
I still love Bob.
Yeah, Bob is the best. He's still got Bob.
So he actually, I think it was the first one or this, I can't remember, but he let Bob out of his skull.
He can go inhabit
other things or
to
people.
Be able to. He sends him out on a mission.
Yeah, he sends him out to go, like, or no, he helped him in the first one. So then at the end of the first one, he sends Bob out to kind of, like, as a reward, like, go do what you want for a night.
Yeah.
And he comes back, and, like, all over the news and everything, there's this huge college orgy party that he started.
Yep.
And he's like, God damn it, Bob.
And his price for all the information usually is romance novels.
Yes, he loves romance novels.
Bob loves romance novels. So there's always, like, a bunch of romance novels laying all over the shelf where Bob's skull sits.
He's such a weird character.
He is. But he's funny.
Yeah. He's still the best so far. I thought, like, I was going to really like Tara if she were to stay, like, it later on.
Yeah.
Tara
she comes
really
back
nice.
around.
Yeah, she's really nice. I was really sad that, like, so they, at the very end of this book, they sent the loup-garou, which is her fiance, on them, but as the loup-garou, he doesn't know what he's doing, and he's just mean and vicious, and they end up accidentally, well, not purposely, but accidentally killing him, and she was a part of it, because she was trying to stop her fiance from killing the kids and all that.
Because she had said quite a few times throughout the book that, he would rather die than hurt in an instant.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
But
it was
wasn't,
a really nice guy.
He just, with his affliction, with him being a werewolf, he had no control over it.
Yeah, so they end up killing him, and she doesn't resent Dresden at all about it.
No.
She's just like, we had to do what we had to do. He's probably happy that we did it this way and that he didn't hurt anybody else. And she was just a really neat character, and I really liked that, like, she couldn't soul gaze or anything because she doesn't have a soul. So it made her, like, very mysterious. Like, you didn't know what she was really up to or how she was going to act or what she was going to do.
Yeah.
So I think she was more like a wolf.
Yeah.
Because, like, they talk about some of the werewolves that, like, you're a human, but you transform into the werewolf. Well, he's starting to think that Tara is a wolf that can actually transform into a human, so she's actually not human.
He's very curious on exactly what she is.
Yeah, because she doesn't have a soul.
Yeah.
So he was really interested in her. She was just a really interesting character throughout this one.
Yeah, she was. I liked her a lot in this one.
So, what was your favorite part of 1 or 2?
Fighting naked.
Fighting naked in the first one. That was just so freaking hilarious.
That was hilarious. I'm like, they're out in the rain. He's butt naked. And he's fighting this thing. And he's calling up lightning. I'm like, somebody's going to get electrocuted. Somebody's going to get electrocuted. And then the cops pulling up to find him for Murphy right there at the end. And, they didn't really expect to be pulling up and finding a naked man standing in the middle of the street. So...
He's just freaking... I love that part in the first one where he's in the circle with Susan.
Yeah.
And he's naked and she's got the love potion in her, so she's, like, loving up on him. And he's just like, not right now, not right now. And he's trying to, like just stop her. He's, like, trying to get her to stop, but he has to focus on the circle as well to keep the circle power. And she's distracting him. And she's like, oh, looks like you're happy to see me. And he's like, no. Like, no. It's got a mind of its own. He's like, please stop.
He was thinking she was going to get him all killed.
Yeah, she was going to get him killed.
Because she's rubbing all over him, and they're in this tiny little circle that's, enclosed by power, and she's wanting to lay him out.
Yeah. So. Yeah, she was trying to get him to lay down.
Yeah. And then, of course, you got funny. Bob, the pervert, up there on the shelf watching everything.
Yeah. Oh, what was the one in the second or I think it was the second one. He wanted to, like, inhabit Susan at one point.
Yes.
Yeah. He's like, can I just inhabit Susan for a little bit? And he's like, no.
Yeah, he wanted to come out and be able to... No, he wanted to go into Harry so that he could have sex with Susan.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He wanted to have sex with Susan. Bob is so terrible.
Yeah, he is. He's pretty bad, but he's hilarious.
Yeah. I can't wait to talk about him in the other ones.
I know.
He gets worse.
He gets so bad.
But so we will keep doing these reviews as we go through the books. So they'll probably be sporadic depending on like what our schedules are and how fast we can get through these books, because sometimes they take a while. So I hope you enjoy these books. I highly recommend them, whether you read or do the audiobooks. I highly recommend these books. These are really good books.
These are very good books. And that's saying a lot for me, because I normally don't read anything but Stephen King. But these books are amazing. They are absolutely amazing. And of course, with me being a lot further along than you, like I said, I'm in the 8th or the 9th one, to keep me into a series for that long, that's something that is not Stephen King, is saying a lot.
Yeah, and the way that we got into this is my little sister,
my youngest daughter,
read all of them.
Yeah, she has all of them.
She
met the author at Comic-Con and had him sign some stuff. Too bad he looks like her dad, but scared the shit out of her when she turned a corner and saw him. But no, she started reading them, I want to say, about 4 years ago, and one of her friends had gotten her into them, and she liked the first one, and she just couldn't stop either.
I know, she's been bugging me to read them for quite a while.
Yeah, she'd been bugging me for a while too.
And I just don't have time to sit down and read books, so I do like the audiobooks. And I was sitting there one day and I started running out of stuff on my audiobook list. I was like, you know what? I wonder if that series is on audiobooks. And of course they are. So then I read the first one and I was just like, okay, I got to keep reading these now.
Yeah. And I'm so busy that we actually share the audio book thing on our phones. So I read pretty much, I've read everything that you have in there except for a couple of the Michael Crichton things. But so, and it's easy for me because I mean, I'm so far away from work, so I listen to it on the way to work. I listen to it on the way home. I go out, I'm cooking dinner or something. I put my headphones on and I'm listening to them. So it's a lot easier because I'm so busy. It's a lot easier for me to listen to them, and I can just plug it into my radio in the truck, or I can plug my headphones in, listen to it, at work on lunch and breaks and whatnot. So
yeah, the audiobooks are just way more convenient for a busy lifestyle. Like me, I was working and going to school, so I was driving a lot and I could listen to them in the car. And then now I'm starting to I'm trying to work out, so then I can actually take my headphones with me and I can listen to them while I'm working out.
Yeah.
And it just makes it way more convenient than just sitting on your butt and having to sit there with a book in front of your face.
Yeah, it's you can be more active while you're, still reading a book. I mean, and it took me a long time to actually listen to one, but then once I saw how much I could do and, still get that reading in, because I love to read books, but I just don't have the time to sit and just read a book. I mean, it takes up, so much of you just sit there and read. You got this to do, you got that to do. So it is a lot easier. And it was really hard for me to do that because I like reading a book.
And I think in today's society, it's just more convenient because everybody's so busy anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, so many people work 2 jobs. There's so many single parents out there. People work overtime. People are trying to go to school. I mean, you don't see very many readers out there anymore. Because today's society, you can't survive off of just one job, minimum wage, single
around
parent,
and just reading a book all day.
Yeah.
You can't, I mean, there's just too much to do. I mean, I can get up and do the dishes.
Yeah.
You can't do the dishes and read a book because, well, first of all, you got water. Second, your hands are busy. You can't turn pages. I mean, it is a lot easier. And there's been a couple of books that I really didn't like the voice of the reader, but I mean, other than that, I mean, most of them I've kind of gotten used to. That was my biggest issue, I think, was I didn't want somebody that sucked.
That's the hardest part about the audiobooks. You have to have the right voices for it.
Yeah.
A lot of the ones that I've listened to are perfect. One thing I did not like is when I went through the Dark Tower series.
I don't like his voice.
The first
the
one?
ones that you have, the first ones.
Okay, so
I actually started reading. Well, I've read them.
I've read them
4 times alone, and then I saw she had them in the Audible, so I decided to listen to
the first one or 2 were by some guy.
Yeah,
and then they went to a different guy, and the second guy was great.
Okay,
freaking phenomenal.
That's all I've done is the first 2, and I did not like his voice.
No,
and
it switches.
It's just like. I mean, it was kind of irritating for me to listen to those.
Oh my god, the second guy that does them is just phenomenal. I love the way he did Eddie's voice. Like, he really had that really thick New York accent, and the way he did everybody's voice was so great. And then I think the last 1 or 2, it switches to somebody else, and I didn't have that thick New York accent anymore for Eddie, and I didn't like that.
Okay.
But I still got used to his voice. He was still good. It was just like I didn't like the switch.
Yeah, the first 2 is the only 2 that I've actually listened to through that. I mean, obviously I was just listening to him for something to listen to, because I've actually sat down and read those books 4 times each, every single one of them. But I just listening to it to kind of refresh, because it's been a while, and I really did not like his voice. I almost did not want to listen to the second one, because I really was irritated with his voice.
Yeah.
But now that I know it switches, I'll probably
continue.
Yeah.
So the guy that actually narrates the Dresden books is just he's great.
James Marsters.
There you go.
James Marsters.
Yeah.
The one thing that I think is a little odd with him, I've gotten used to his voice and I'm okay with his voice. But like when he takes a breath or something, you can kind of hear him like this. And my youngest daughter cannot stand that sound. So when we got in the truck one day and she goes, "Oh, if you want to play," I'm like, "You won't like his voice." And she's like, "Why?" I'm like, "Because he's kind of got that sound as he's like trying to, swallow," and she's like, "Yeah, no." And so she didn't try it. Well, then one day I picked her up. I just kind of pulled in, and I was coming home from work, and I wanted to pick her up. And she started to come out, and I didn't get it turned off in time.
And she heard it?
And she says, "Was that the Dresden Files?" And I said, "Yes." And she says, "Yeah, you're right. I don't like him." So
I like him. And I think
I actually have gotten so used to him, you don't even hear that anymore.
Yeah,
but the first couple books, it was like, every time he took a breath or a pause or something, you could hear that. And it was like, I think he's gotten better with that.
Yeah. Well, I think like that you tend to like take whoever's narrating it and kind of put it into like the personality of the person.
Yes.
So like I kind of like put that into the personality of Harry Dresden as he would actually do that.
Yeah.
And then you just get used to it after that.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, I don't know.
But, yeah. I like them.
I like it. I like these books. These are great.
Yeah.
Great books. So, we will do the next 2 next time, whenever that will be.
Whenever you finish, because I'm already done with those.
So, yeah, let us know what you think about these books. They're very popular right now, so I would assume that some of you have probably actually read them or at least heard of them. And if you at least heard of them and now you're seeing a review, you should definitely try to listen/read them. Let us know what books you guys like, because once we're done with these, we got nothing.
We can always use suggestions.
Yes, we're always looking for new books.
For something new, something different, something refreshing.
Yes, and it doesn't have to be just horror. I mean, we like fantasy, thrillers, mystery.
I went through all her Harry Potter ones.
Harry Potter, yeah. Anything nerdy?
Yeah,
hit us up.
That's us.
Ready Player One was great.
Our Harry Potter stuff here. She just got hers.
Ready Player One was definitely a fantasy action. I loved that one. It's definitely nerdy. So nerdy. And I loved that book. So let us know what books you guys like, and we can definitely put them on our list, and we can even give reviews or even just hit you up and say, yeah, we really enjoyed that book. So just let us know and keep ghouling.